Welcome back to the Net to Net podcast with your hosts Sam Kelty, Casey Kirsch, and Caleb Kirsch, coming back at you with another soccer podcast. So today on this week's episode, we're going to focus on the Premier League for the upcoming weeks, touch base on last week's games, also touch in with La Liga's games last week, as well with our favorite Columbus Crew in the MLS as we get closer to the playoffs, as well as touching on one of the legends of Chelsea FC, Eden Hazard, announcing his retirement, which we'll dive into that too. So today, first we're going to start off with the Premier League. We're going to we're going to recap last week's game. So I'm going to start with Casey and say, Casey, which was your most interesting game of last week?
I think it was the battle of the top two of the last year Premier League table, Arsenal versus Man City, where Arsenal ended up edging out that win 1-0 over Man City. And this one, I wouldn't say it was the most interesting of games, but it was definitely the one that I wanted to tune into the most going into it, just because of the two levels of the teams. Man City still pushing for that title race. They dropped now down to third in the Premier League. Arsenal with this win rise up to second in the Premier League. They were back and forth. So yeah, this is one where Arsenal, they were top of the league for all of last season, and City edged it out in the last. I think it was Arsenal was leading 90% of the whole season, and then City comes up into the end to win the title. So there was definitely some added emotion going into this game. A lot happened, but there weren't as many goals as we all would have thought. Haaland kind of got shut down by Gabriel and Saliba. They seem like when they are together, they are really, really tough to come by to get past or anything like that. They end up with a clean sheet here against the City team, who, I mean, we've talked about it for weeks. We thought they were going to easily win this title this year. So Arsenal are able to get the result there, get 3 points. Martinelli getting the goal here. Havertz actually doing something. He gets the assist here, and Arsenal get the win. What can I say?
Yeah. Do you think it was weird? Do you think it's kind of a thing to say that Haaland against big teams, he's not always there? We saw City end the game with 4 shots, 1 on target, to Arsenal's 12 shots, 2 on target. And this is not the first time we've seen Haaland shut down by a big team. Like we saw in last year's Champions League with Real Madrid, Rudiger pretty much shutting down Haaland over 2 legs. We saw it last year against Arsenal. We've seen it against Liverpool. And we've seen it against the likes of like United and all those big boys. Who have shut down Haaland, and we only really see him score against like the smaller teams, like the Bournemouths and the Burnleys of the world. Do you think that's a fair assumption?
Yeah, I would say so. I think he struggles against big physical defenders, and especially when there's 2 of them, when one can go and press him and the other can be there as a cover. Because I feel like you have to, when you're playing against Haaland, he's one of the best players in the world, and you have to make sure your whole defense is centered around stopping him, realistically. And so when you have big players like Saliba or Gabriel, or other just big defenders, big physical, strong defenders, he kind of struggles with that, because when he plays against the smaller teams who don't have those experienced, strong players who are used to playing at the likes of Haaland, he's able to score easily, really. So we saw that in the Bundesliga. They couldn't stop him at all. And they didn't have a lot of the same physicality that they do in the Premier League. But now you're seeing, even though he scored the record goal scoring tally last year, you see him play against these big teams like you mentioned, Real Madrid or Arsenal, or even a Liverpool at Van Dijk, and it's tough for him to get past those type of players with the big, strong archetypes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Now going to Caleb, what was your most interesting and exciting game you watched this?
Yeah, so I tuned into the Brighton-Liverpool game. Um, it was a cagey affair, a lot of back and forth. I would say, not the result that I was hoping for, but we'll take a point, I guess. It's not ideal, but we'll take a point at Brighton. They are a good team. A lot of new people, but De Zerbi, literally, you have to give him credit for all that he's done against all the big teams. He's knocked off a lot of the big teams, and since he's been manager, and you know, their pressure against us at one point was a bit tough, and then ours against them, literally, it was the same thing. So it was a battle of the press, battle of who can really just put the ball in the net compared to, chances that might have been outside the box or whatever. With Brighton going up 1-0 earlier in the game, constant, pretty much every single game that I watch as a fan of Liverpool, it happens, and we did bounce back pretty quickly with I think two in the 40s up until halftime. Salah with the penalty, and Szoboszlai getting yanked from the collar, and the goal's wide open. Somehow not a red card. A week after the referee committee put out two statements saying that the Diaz goal should have stood and Jota's red card should not have been given. It just shows that even though we do get apologies and we're supposed to suck it up, even if we get you know totally screwed over by the referees all the time, we're just supposed to take it. I mean, if Soboslai's challenge, uh, the defender gets sent off, that's a totally different game, and I think we go on to win it. We also had a really good chance in the second half with Gravenberch hitting the crossbar, which if that goes in and it's 3-1, I think it's pretty much over at that point away from home. That'd be a huge win for us, and um, I do got to give credit to Brighton. They are tough team to play. Apart from their one blip that they had, but players like Evan Ferguson, he didn't have a best game against Van Dijk and Joel Matip. I would like to point out Luis Diaz. He had an okay game, but the amount of you know slander he kind of gets online really is frustrating for me to see, and when he's such a quality player. And the one thing I was surprised with as well, in terms of Brighton, not starting Ansu Fati, that was 5-6 minutes. I think if they would have had him on the field, it would have been another game changing player for them. So with the likes of Ferguson not really doing much and pretty much being shut down, um, I, one thing I think that we should have done, I know it's after the fact, it's after the game, but I think Endo, if he would have started this match, it would have been a bit more controlled on our front because, we haven't really seen much of him. And in these games that he has played, he has been pretty decent in winning the ball back. And that's exactly what we need in that midfield. We do have great creative players like McAllister, Elliott, Szoboszlai, who all started the game, but we do need that presence in midfield. And after this game, Liverpool Twitter kind of has been blowing up, talking about we're still interested in Andre. So that is one piece that I think could change it. Or if we do get Thiago, calming that game down when we go 1-0 down, which seems to happen pretty much every game, like I said earlier, calming that game down, controlling the game, and being ruthless in attack, because Salah and Nunez are just chaos monsters, and it's a joy to watch them every week. So I would say, a draw is fine, but there's a lot more easier games to come because Liverpool has played a lot of tough teams this year so far. So that's my analysis, I guess.
So just going back to the Ansu Fati thing, do you think the reason why he's only played 4 games in the Premier League this year with 1 goal, 0 assists. Do you think the reason why he's not getting a much run is because there are better players at his position? Or do you think it's because they already have these certain guys that have played together for like an entire season and they already have like the chemistry and it's kind of harder for a new guy to come in right away and try to gel with these guys that have been playing for 30 to 40 matches a game last season, and they already have that built chemistry. And like we have like a Matoma and João Pedro and Evan Ferguson and then Andariga, all at his position where he can play over the whole front line.
So, I would say, I mean, that's a good assumption, I would say, because his last couple of months with Barca last year, it was kind of strange. His complete, like, different player. And the I don't remember his name, the right winger, he ended up scoring. So, had Ansu Fati been on the field at that point, I'm not sure. Maybe he takes that shot, maybe he doesn't. So I don't see him really starting over Matoma. The guy is unreal, and I would like to point out he did have a quiet game down that left hand side. Trent did really do a good job on him, and the minute that we sub him out, there's issues down that side. The minute we sub him out, there's issues. And Klopp did a great job, I would say, that match, but that was the one nitpick that really did hurt us because I don't remember who got. It might have been Matoma who got fouled down that left hand side, but that ended up being their tying goal, the cross into the box, and they finished off the free kick. And you know, Trent's going under the radar a bit this year, and that's something that a lot of people aren't really talking about.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, for our viewers listening, the right wing that plays for Brighton is Simon Underrega. He's 21, so he's new to the team, and he is
new. Yeah, I just don't remember his name.
Yeah, he's played 7 matches, 2 goals, 1 assist through 7. So yeah, and
it was a great goal. I mean, they stole the ball and took it from the outside. It took everyone by surprise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I know Barca fans, Casey, is probably not liking that Ansu Fati's not really involved, which is not probably what Xavi thought when he loaned them to Brighton. But again, I don't think he gets into the Barca team right now either. Just based on the last season.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't get into the Barca team right now, but I mean, we all thought he would be playing pretty much every game for Brighton. Like, he's their highest paid player, even though Barca is paying some of his wages. So, like, you'd think he'd either be playing up top or he'd be playing on the left wing or even on just anywhere, really. He can play anywhere on the front line. But personally, I would put him up top, play Matoma on the left, and just go with that, I guess. But it seems like he doesn't have the trust of the manager yet, and I'm sure he'll end up proving himself, considering he's just that quality of a player, even though he's only 20 years old.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so for me, there's 2 games for me really that could have 3 games really that for me could have went that were exciting. I think you can't, like, an honorable mention has to be the Man United game with McTominay scoring in the 93rd and the 95th minute to win the game against Brentford, which is insane for a CDM. This is what he was doing for Scotland at the World Cup qualifiers, scoring an unbelievable goal. I just remember seeing on Instagram, like, it's the next Ronaldo. It's prime Ronaldo, prime Lima Ronaldo. El Phenomenon is back. Like, insane things. Another one had to be West Ham versus Newcastle, a 2-2 draw. It went down to the wire with Koundé's, their new signing, scoring at the end of the game. But for this week, I have to go with my tried and trustworthy Chelsea. Winning the game against Burnley, we finally pick up some points. Great win, 4-1. Yes, Burnley scored first, which is the theme of this year. We like to let them score first. I like what we did. My only thing is we played a back 4. A weird kind of hybrid back 4-ish with Cucurella playing on the right-hand side, which I did not like at all because we had Levi Colwill on the left, Diassi, and Silva in the middle. And I'm not a huge fan of Cucurella. Yes, we have no right back on our team because Reece James was suspended, and I believe he's still injured. I can't remember. It's both. And then Gusto got sent off last game, so he was also suspended. So we had to play Cucurella on the right side, which I didn't like. But we've been playing Borja up front and for Nico Jackson, which I like Borja starting up there. He's looked very well since coming off that ACL surgery. Nico Jackson comes in the second half, scores a goal. Sterling gets a goal, which I was very happy about. He's trying to finding his form. The midfield looks insane. with Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo, and Gallagher. And then Cole Palmer, the youngster, the new signing that I didn't see coming from City, the 21-year-old, steps up and takes a penalty when you have the likes of Raheem Sterling and Enzo on your team. Cole Palmer steps up in that moment, takes the penalty, and scores a goal for Chelsea, which we love to see. He's getting a lot of game time on that right-hand side. We thought that Nori Madueke would have that this year, but or Raheem Sterling, but it seems like Poch likes to go with Palmer up front with Sterling on the left, where Sterling's a little more comfortable playing on that left, and then having Mudryk and him rotate. But all in all, Chelsea, we get the job done. We move up in the table, which I'm glad. So that was probably my most exciting game. I know we're in international break now, so we don't have a ton of games coming up this week, but next week we do. I just want to go swing. For me, probably the game I'm looking forward to on match day 9 will have to be the North London Derby, Chelsea versus Arsenal, 9 a.m. on Saturday, 9:30 a.m. on Saturday. I believe we are at Stamford Bridge, where we succeed more times than not at home. So hopefully we get the dub against Arsenal. Hopefully we have not the injury crisis, but you never know. Hopefully Saka doesn't play for Arsenal. He's a big miss. We saw that last week against City. But hands down, I hope Chelsea gets the dub or at least gets a point out of it. But yeah, going to Caleb, what is your game? I'm guessing we all know what that is.
I mean, yeah, it's the other huge derby. I mean, gotta call it what it is. It's a derby, and it hasn't been like a derby in recent years because Liverpool have been kind of dominating Everton. But we just need to go out there. We need to play Nunez with Salah. Those two have a great partnership up front, and I would like to see Konate come back into the squad and Endo start the next match next to McAllister and Szoboszlai, and maybe bring Gravenberch off the bench. Everton have not been in good form. I don't want to jinx it right now, but I think we'll go out and beat them pretty handily.
Everton's been in a mixed form over the last 5 games. They've won 2, lost 2, and drawn 1. I'm not in the best form over the last 5 games, but they're starting to try to find their form. We know that's a big derby. That will be the first game. I know it'll be 4:30 on the East Coast or on the West Coast, which I will not be up for that. But
Yeah,
it'll be the 8 o'clock game for them.
Yeah, it is. It is a huge deal in the city. I mean, more than most derbies, I would say. It's very historic, and I'm really excited to see it because the last couple have not been as exciting, and I'd like to see us go out and put a dent in the score.
Maybe Casey will decide to post a video of Caleb Bryn for Everton. Who knows?
That's edited, altered video.
like we've seen before, but
it's an altered video, everyone, for the listeners.
I think Casey, we're creating a good game here too. Manchester City versus Brighton. That's going to be 3rd versus 6th. City's on some downward form right now. They have 2 losses in a row. You know, Brighton has a loss and a draw, but they're both still in 3rd and 6th, respectively. So it's going to be a huge matchup. They're both trying to get back into good form again off the international break. Maybe they have some time off and hopefully, re-gel as a group. But I'm picking City in this one. It's at the Etihad. And I think that they just have too much talent for Brighton. Even though Brighton is the giant killers, it seems like, in the Premier League. They love playing against the top 6 teams and doing well against them. But City, I think Haaland scores a brace here probably, and City wins 2-1.
Yeah, that adds to Haaland's total. He's currently the top scorer in the league with 8. And I just want to say, if the season ended now, Casey's predictions at the beginning of the season would be correct because he picked Tottenham to win to be in the top 4. He also picked Son and James Madison, the top sister and goal scorers,
and coach of the year for Tottenham too, which is probably going to happen. So
it does look like it. It does look like it because with that one, you don't have to win the Premier League to become coach of the year. But you have James Madison with 5 assists, leading the way, tied with Trippier and Pedro Neto. And then Son is has 6 goals, tied for second with Isak. And actually, someone we probably didn't see is Wolves. Hong Hee Chan is in fourth because he's on 5 goals with Jared Bowen and Mohamed Salah.
So you
So
picked them to go down, didn't you?
I picked the Wolves to go down because I think they're in 14th right now. Burnley, Sheffield, and Bournemouth are through eight matches are in the relegation zone with Tottenham, Arsenal, City, Liverpool, and then Villa in the top 5. So it's a long season. We still have time. So keeping with the Premier League theme, Eden Hazard has announced his retirement from the game of football. Injuries have kind of caught up to him, but he is regarded as one of the best players of our generation in of us being alive from the early 2000s, like 2007 all the way through 2023. Most notably, he was really known for his time at Chelsea, where he made 245 appearances, 85 goals. He's won multiple awards, such as the Premier League twice, the FA Cup once, the EFL Cup once, and the Europa League twice, and is a Champions League winner with Real Madrid. He also helped guide Belgium to I believe their highest finish in the World Cup in 2018 to third place. And just looking at a stat earlier from it, in 2018, he averaged an 8.0 average throughout the entire World Cup. One of the best Belgians to ever play the game, one of the best wingers to play in the Premier League, multiple individual awards such as PFA Player of the Years, Chelsea Player of the Years, Young Player of the Year. But I just want to get your guys' takes on Eden Hazard's career. Yes, some people might remember him as his time in La Liga, where he struggled with injuries and fitness and competition there, but we all remember his times in Chelsea. But starting with Casey, from an Eden Hazard?
Yeah, I mean, Hazard just had an incredible career overall, I would say. And a lot of the younger part of our generation they never saw that Chelsea fire that he had, where he was just the best player in the Premier League for a good amount of time. And a lot of them just saw the injuries over the past 4 years at Madrid, where he didn't really do anything. But back in his prime at Chelsea, like, he was that dude. He could dribble through anyone. He could score goals. He could get assists. Like, he was a great playmaker. I believe he won PFA Player of the Year a time or two. But yeah, he just had an incredible career, especially with Chelsea. I remember watching back in the mid 2010s when he was playing with Juan Mata, who was one of my favorite players. And those two just were incredible together. And as soon as Mata went over to Manchester United, it became Hazard's team officially, and he just grew, and it was just a great thing to see him become that best player or that second best player in the Premier League. And that's why he got that big money move to Madrid in the first place, is because he was such a great player, and he had an incredible career. It's sad to see him go at the age of 32, but it's he did a ton in his career, and you can't fault him for that.
Caleb?
Yeah, I just want to point out that goal he had versus Arsenal, where he pretty much dribbled the entire field, and he drags or no, it wasn't Grant Xhaka, it was Laurent Koscielny, basically to the ground, and scoops it pretty much over the goalie. And there's a couple more, like the one where he scored against West Ham, where he's dribbling through three guys, a 1-2, and he puts it in somehow. And the one that really that has gone under the radar, there's one where he did a couple 1-2s against Everton with, like, when Pedro first came. Those two kind of had some weird chemistry together. And so, yeah, I mean, the guy for Belgium as well, he never really got them over the hump, but I think a part of the problem with Belgium is they're really good on paper, and then just some people just did not live up to their club standard when they played for the national team, and you know it didn't get him over. And yeah, so the last couple of years for him have been really rough, and he's heard all about it, I'm sure. And now he's just talking about kicking back and chilling out, I guess, being retired and living his life.
Yeah. Yeah, we've seen a lot of players uh, retire at the age of 32. I believe Gerard left the game at 32. Lampard has left the game, I believe, at 33. Rooney left the game at
I
30.
don't know about that.
Rooney left the game at 32, I believe.
Rooney, yeah, not Gerard.
Ronaldinho. I think Gerard left at 32, 33. Because I know Lampard left around. They were like the same age. When
Let me double check, but keep going.
But yeah, well, we talk about all these guys leaving the game. We're talking, and I just want to point out in 2018 World Cup, everybody remembers he pretty much dragged Belgium to the pretty much the third place game. He won the silver ball. He had 3 goals and 4 assists that tournament, playing every single match. He captained the team. Also, people don't forget leading up to that game, leading up to the Euros too, to drag them into the Euros. He played all 25 qualifying games and scored 11 goals and 11 assists to get them into the Euros, which is pretty insane for Eden Hazard. But yeah, I'm gonna be sad that he's gone. He a lot of memories with him at Chelsea, not so great memories at Madrid, but happy that he got his Champions League medal finally. I know he didn't do anything, but it's still a Champions League medal. He still gets to say he was a part of that team. But yeah, Eden Hazard, we wish him well in retirement. Hopefully, I don't know what he does. Hopefully, he stays in shape. Doesn't pull a Schneider and not look like he's in great shape. But yeah, so switching gears from the Premier League now, we can touch in on La Liga. And match day 9, probably notable games is Osasuna, Real Madrid. Real Madrid wins 4-0. Bellingham adds 2 goals to his tally. To be as the top scorer in La Liga. He's putting up unbelievable numbers like Ronaldo did when he came into the league at the beginning of his career. And then you have Vinny, who added a second goal, and Joselu has 5 goals to the season now. It's tied with Lewandowski, which a lot of people said, where are these goals going to come from for Real Madrid? I remember these 2 boys on the pod said, where are these goals coming from? And you're talking about Joselu, who's tied for second with 5 goals on the season, and Bellingham, who has 8 goals on the season now, top scorers in La Liga. So Real Madrid, they beat the top team last week or 2 weeks ago in Girona, and then they go out and beat Osasuna. 1 loss on the season, and then which we all know that was against Atletico Madrid. And then the other game that was big, Barcelona plays Granada. Barcelona ends up tying Granada 2-2. I believe it was, if I'm not mistaken, no Lewandowski, no De Jong, and probably the most notable
No
news.
Rafinha, no
Rafinha.
Pedri.
Yep. No Pedri, no
We
nothing.
lose Kunde.
Yep. They play a young player in Lopez to start the game, which I'm shocked they didn't start Oriol Romeu. He's been having a tremendous season so far this year, but they go tied. Probably the main takeaway is Lamine Yamal, the youngest scorer in La Liga history, score a goal. He scores. So based off of those 2 games we just talked about, Caleb, did you see this coming from Jude Bellingham?
No, not his. I didn't. I knew he is a. How do I describe him? A rushing the box when the cross is in type of player. You know, box to box coming in, maybe top the box penalty spot area to just hit the ball in the corner. Coming like a late runner type player, but no, I did not expect this many goals, and it is something that Ancelotti pointed out. I don't know how long it's going to last for, how long he can keep this up, but if he can, man, it's going to be something for Real Madrid because, you know, it is early. My prediction could still come true, but it's looking pretty off my prediction from an earlier podcast where I said where are all these goals going to come from? And it's Bellingham right now. There's no doubt about that.
And you forget Joselu has, I don't think, started all of our games, and he has 5 goals on the season. There's some of our goals as well. And I think it's a team effort at this point, especially with Vinny being injured for a month. Casey, what's your takeaway on Jude Bellingham's start?
I don't know how he keeps getting away with this, man. I really don't. Real Madrid are living in fairyland right now, and they have God, I don't even know what to say to them, honestly, because they are living their wildest dreams. Oh, we were prime Real Madrid, but we're starting Joselu up top, okay? Like, really? Bellingham's is their top scorer in La Liga, and he can't. Whenever they don't score, or whenever he doesn't score, they lose. But he scored like every game except for the Atletico Madrid game. It's crazy. No one saw this coming. I don't know how long it's gonna last for. Like Caleb said, it can't last forever. But what were you gonna say, Sam?
I was just gonna say fairy tale of Joselu. We forget that he scored 16 goals last season, all comp for La Liga last year for a relegation team. So the goals are there from Jose
or La Liga.
La Liga. Sorry, I didn't mean all comp.
Okay.
But I don't know.
I didn't say he wasn't a good goal scorer. He's just not Benzema.
He's not gonna give you. He's not going to give you the Benzema goals that we saw from a year ago. But he's that like stopgap. He's that bridge player. And you forget Bellingham scoring 8 goals in La Liga. He also scored in the Champions League against Napoli. And he's a Zidane-esque run. He came back, got the ball from Camavinga, took on players, and just a nice finish like Zidane did back in the day, wearing that number 5. Vinny gets a goal against Napoli, and people are like, "Oh, Napoli's the leading the Serie A champions. They got Osimhen and they got Kula.
Okay, don't get
they're
too ahead of yourself.
They're not the same.
Don't get ahead of yourself, dude. They're in ruins right now, Napoli.
They are in ruins.
Okay, like things are going on behind the scenes that we don't know about, but
we know what happened. We know what happened.
I'm sure there's been more stuff that's happened though behind the scenes.
Well, okay, yeah, of course. This isn't a new thing. Yes. It's not a new thing for Napoli, right? We saw it with Koulibaly. Now we're seeing it with Osimhen. The culture or something is off there, man, and how they treat African players.
But Real Madrid, 6 points in the group, at the top of the tables in La Liga, top of the tables in Champions League. We looking like the best team in the world. I don't think anyone can compete with us. I want to say City's the only team that can compete right now with us. I'm just worried.
Wait till the Clasico, bro. We're gonna miss a bunch of players and still beat you. Lamine Yamal is gonna be the youngest Clasico scorer of all time.
Wait till you meet him. Wait till you meet him all meets my friend Rudiger.
Dude, Rudiger can't even stop average players, bro.
Rudiger's gonna drop him on the first dribble. It's gonna be Ramos all over again.
No, dude. I will say for this Barcelona game, though, that happened this past weekend, dude, we got robbed. We scored in the last minute again. And guess what? He was onside, and we all saw it. But guess what? They called us offside. Are we really paying the refs, Caleb and Sam? Are we really doing that?
I mean, you're the one who's under investigation, so
look at it.
Just one who's under investigation.
Just want to say, mark your calendars.
Maybe maybe. I think the payments might have stopped. Maybe that's why.
We still have never been convicted of it, so
you're on trial.
Just mark your calendars. October 28th. El Clasico. We'll see. We'll see. October 28th.
Okay.
We'll see on October 28th. October 28th at 7:15 West Coast time, about 10 a.m. East Coast time. El Clasico. We'll see which players show up, which team shows up. In the past, we've seen Barcelona not show up, but
we've seen Vinny not show up most times.
But if we want to go to last year,
which he really hasn't that much this season. He's gotten carried by Bellingham and Jose.
Well,
so
I will say next week's games.
How's Rodrigo been this season, bud?
He's been okay. He's been okay. But I want to say next week's game.
Been good.
I just want to give a nice.
He's been injured and bad.
I just want to give a nice shout out. Next week's game for Real Madrid. Real Madrid have to travel to the Ramona Sanchez Pizjuan to take on a foe, a familiar foe, a legend, a debutant to the club for so many years. Sergio Ramos plays against his former team, which he had already.
Barca favor.
He already said didn't really help because what place is Barca still in again? Wait, what place are they in? Oh wait, they're in third. But back to what I was saying. Sergio Ramos has already said if they get a penalty, he is not taking it. He is their penalty taker, but he is not taking it against Madrid because he cannot do it. He cannot do it to the Los Blancos, to the Whites. No, he can't do it.
So why even play then? If you're not going to help the team you're on, why even play?
He's going to play to help them. He's going to play to help them.
Bench him then. He's let in a penalty, and he scored an own goal in the past 2 games.
So I have to give an own goal to Real Madrid too.
He said.
What's the point?
He said he can't do it against the team. The fan base.
I thought he was this.
Club.
Hold on. I thought he was the strong man. I thought he was the strong man that never backs down. He never lets anyone push him around. But before the game even starts, he's already giving up everything that he can do to win. He's giving up completely. Sevilla will lose this game, and it will be a bad loss for Sevilla. Real Madrid will go in there and destroy this team.
Oh, Sevilla's going to win.
Leader and their homeboy will not be there playing. That's how Ramos is.
Sevilla's going to win.
He'll be playing, but he won't do his best, that's for sure. He's already said he won't do his best.
He said he'll do it. He said he'll do his best.
He's going in with a negative mindset.
He's giving the penalty away. He doesn't want to shoot. He doesn't want to score on the team.
That's a horrible mindset.
That's the same thing.
That's a horrible mindset.
I wouldn't want someone that's given so much to the club to score on my club. I wouldn't want that. So
he's giving so much right now.
He scored against Sevilla. Sam,
okay, that's because
Sevilla nearly as much as he does.
That's
Madrid.
because if you watch the interview with him, Sevilla and him, it's a weird relationship between Sevilla and Ramos because the way he left, Sevilla was kind of bad. Which Sevilla fans hated him for so many years. They finally forgave him this year. Like he was saying in an interview that whenever they played Sevilla, because his family's from Sevilla, his parents and grandparents couldn't go to the game because they would get so brutally whistled and booed and jarred at the entire game. Like they would have to leave the game at halftime because it was so bad for them to be there. That's why Ramos would celebrate in front of
Ramos has no loyalty. That's why.
Oh, he has loyalty. He has some more loyalty than certain players on Barcelona. But
is that why he went to Madrid?
They came calling for him, and he answered the call.
What players are you talking about, Sam? What players?
Alex Song left you millions times.
Who cares? We didn't care. He didn't even start.
Alex Song played a lot.
That was like over 10 years ago, bro.
Alex Song. I haven't heard that guy's name in a million years.
João Felix literally played for Atletico Madrid and now saying he's a Barca boy through and through.
Barca was his favorite club growing up. That's why you wanted Mbappe, right?
He said Chelsea was his favorite. He said Chelsea was his favorite English club when he went. So what do you believe?
Okay, we all know that. Hold on. We all know the players
said the same thing.
We all know that players do this. We had someone the other day, Beto, saying that he told his friends in kindergarten or whatever that he wanted to play at Goodison Park his whole life. That's the biggest lie I've ever heard.
João Cancelo said
that's the biggest lie I've ever heard.
João Cancelo said
same with João Felix. Same with Mbappe. Come on.
And João Cancelo.
Is that why João Felix has taken 16 million less than what he would have gotten paid?
Is that why João Cancelo? I just want to say João Cancelo said that he's happy to play at Barcelona. It's been a dream for him. When last year he said, I would be happy to join Real Madrid, the best team in the world. But who knows? Who knows what people think these days?
Okay.
It's all about money. It's all about playtime. It's all about money.
Wait. Talk about we're talking about loyalty. We're talking about loyalty. Let's talk about the biggest snake that's played for Barcelona. His name is Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Literally,
How's he
the
a snake, bro?
himself, the most.
You didn't even bring up the biggest snake.
most-
You didn't even bring up the biggest snake.
Okay, Neymar's up there.
Figo.
Figo too.
Figo.
Figo and Ibra. Because when Ibra was when Barca
guess
was
where he went
sucking at
to?
Ibra,
The Snake Club. He went to the club for
when
snakes.
when Barca was sucking and they had Ibra left. He asked for a transfer away. Figo leaves ya.
He's an
Neymar
idiot for doing that. He
snakes
could have
ya.
played with Messi in his prime, but he wanted to go to PSG, bro. He wanted to go. Like, what an idiot. AC Milan. Come on.
Talk about some unloyal players right there. But yes,
Oh,
okay.
yeah, like
switching-
Xavi and Iniesta.
switching gears.
Let's switch gears to the
MLS. We're switching
Yeah,
to the
the crew.
MLS.
Let's talk about
The
that.
loyal
I got some
players.
things to say about this game.
Oh my gosh, you're gonna bring this up. All right, so MLS playoffs are starting soon, pretty much. We have the last matches coming up. We have 3 games this weekend: Nashville versus New England, FC Dallas versus Colorado, and LA Galaxy versus Real Salt Lake. On Wednesday, on the 18th, we have Miami versus Charlotte, and then it's the rest of the games with our crew taking on Montreal on the 21st in Columbus. Hopefully we get the win. Honestly, for a crew fan, I'm hoping since we're already clinched into the playoffs, we don't play our starters for the full game, so we don't pick up an injury because we don't need that, because I'd rather have our full team going in, which makes sense. But going back to last week's games, we had us playing Atlanta United in the Mercedes-Benz Dome of Atlanta. A very painful game to watch because the Columbus Crew have the lead until the last minute of the game. And before they kick the freaking ball off the set piece from Thiago Almada, I'm sitting there going, hey, look, there's 3 guys on the back stick, wide open. What are we doing? And then Miles Robinson scores the goal to tie the game in the last minute. And I remember seeing in the newspaper the next day, the same old story with the Crew conceding in the last minutes of the game, which I want to give a shout out to Mr. Caleb Kirsch. He was watching the games with us at Brett's bachelor party, and he called it right before the game was kicked. He called it saying,
It's that ball knowledge. It's that Kirsch ball knowledge.
We were going to concede,
Thanks.
and we ended up conceding, which is a sad day. But we didn't play very
I think
well, to be
I
honest.
think all crew fans knew as soon as Morera gave up that foul that we were going to get scored
It was
on.
not Morera. It was not Morera. It was not Morera. It was Kevin Molino. The next time, I am saying this for everyone listening, the next time Molino plays a single second for the Columbus Crew, I am turning off the television. It is getting turned off. The amount of times this man has whiffed wide open goals. Hold on. The amount of times he's whiffed wide open goals, given the ball away for the other team to go down and score, and back-to-back appearances for him. Back-to-back appearances to do the exact same thing, fouling in the 90th minute, and we get scored on. The next time, Wilfred Nancy, I love you as a manager. You've done a great job this year. But the next time he plays, I will turn off the TV. I don't care if it's the MLS final. It's turning off.
What if he
Probably
scores?
will play him in the MLS final.
He'll probably bring him on at the last second. We'll be winning, and then he'll foul someone, and then we'll get scored on, and it'll be over. I called the entire thing. It happens too many times, and they need to cut his contract. I don't know if it's expiring or not. They need to cut his contract.
I don't know what kind of dirt
of
Molino
him.
has on Nancy, bro, but it's something, that's for sure.
He has his kids hostage or something.
Horrible.
He has his kids hostage in his basement or something.
There's a few players on.
It's so bad.
There's a few players on the Crew that don't need to have contracts next year.
Who?
There's a few.
Who, Sam? Who else besides Molino?
Oh, I know who he's going to say. Go on, say it.
Say it.
Matan. So bad.
No.
Yep. Matan needs to get sold. He needs to get sold.
Okay,
bro.
sold, I understand, but not cut his contract.
Honestly,
Maybe
cut
a million or
him,
two for
sell him. Not with his
Honestly,
play.
this has been. Hold on. This has been Matan's best season as a Crew player, and he has 8 assists. I mean, before that he had 1 assist. He had 1 assist in his entire Crew career. He has 8 this season. If we keep him, and we replace, if we replace him with another attacker and he drops to the bench, I would be totally fine with that.
There's no reason
because he
that
can play
Maton
left. He can play left mid. He can play center mid. He can play that recess forward, like left.
There's
right
no
forward.
reason why he should be starting, and we have Christian Ramirez on the bench. There's no reason.
No,
why.
I would definitely start Christian Ramirez.
And we're talking about Maton, who he's played 30 games this year. He played 6 games last year, and in 2021 he played 28 games. His stats are 1 goal and 8 assists in his entire career with the Crew. That is terrible. That is
okay,
like
but what I'm saying is you're
space.
No, it's not. He's not a waste of space. You're talking about Porter time. Porter did not know how to use certain players, and Maton was one of them. Nancy has gotten a lot more out of him, and I think if we keep him and we drop him to the bench and start Ramirez from now on,
what's the point? Dude? Why can't we just sell him and then get someone else who can actually play well for us?
Yeah,
because we don't have that many attackers. We really don't have that many attackers.
Maton's not even an attacker. Yeah, he's not really an attacker with those
stats. He's not physically strong. He can't win the ball. Like
I'd rather lean on Jason Russell Rowe, and I hate Jason Russell Rowe.
Yeah, exactly.
He can't score either.
Yeah, I like Jason Russell Rowe.
He can't score to save his life.
He can. He's very young, and he hasn't really played.
He was terrible. He's been terrible this season in front of goal.
This is really hot take now.
That's a hot take.
He has not been that great in front of goal like he was last season. He's definitely taken a step back. But I would take Jason. I would definitely take Jason Russell Rowe.
Last season? What do you mean?
When he was playing for Next Crew.
For Crew 2?
And he was going.
Yeah, that's totally different competition.
But
totally different.
I will say this year, he has 4 goals.
We need to keep Russell Rowe.
4 goals and 2 assists. I just said I would rather keep Jason Russell Rowe over Alexander Maton. I would get rid of Maton in a heartbeat and keep Russell Rowe over him because Maton is terrible. Maton is a waste of space on our team when we have one of the most electric. We have the most electric goal scorers in our team. We have highest goal scoring in our team in the league. Maton is not a part of that. Maton has done nothing.
He started a majority of the games.
He started 30 games and has 8 assists to his name. Good job.
Yeah, we have the most goals in the league because when he started 30 of the 35 games.
No, it's been Cucho who's been.
Well, sure, but Zelarayan was a huge part of it, but we got rid of him. I would have rather got rid of Maton than Zelarayan, but the MLS doesn't allow us to do that.
Yeah, and Nancy signed off on it like a big dum-dum. Which, honestly, Nancy,
sell Maton, bring in someone else who's more of a midfielder who can actually win the ball and doesn't give the ball up constantly like Maton does.
And we switch back to a back 4 because
we have enough attack. No. We need someone who's
3-back crap isn't gonna. This 3-back is what's gonna kill us in the playoffs. This 3-back is gonna kill us because Moreira is gonna get too high, and then they're just gonna counter the right hand side because our right back is literally up with the attack. And he's not getting back. Right center back is up in the attack and not getting back.
That's what we have Morris for. He's kind of a shield.
Well,
Morris does a good job.
Morris does that sometimes, but not a lot.
Morris does an amazing job of winning the ball back.
We can see it a lot because on the right hand side, which shows that our right hand side.
Who's been our best player this season? Do you think? Who's been the Crew's best player this season?
Cucho, 15 goals, 7 assists.
Really?
Yeah, he's. I don't count Zelarayan because he's not on the team anymore. I would say Zelarayan, but he's not on the team anymore. So I'm going.
You wouldn't say Aiden Morris?
No.
The first 10 games it was Aiden Morris, but after that, he has
been consistent,
which none of us know.
After
none of us know what actually happened to Aiden Morris when
Cucho's been consistent. Cucho's been consistent all season.
He's been consistent after that break, the international break, or for when Aiden Morris went to international break, he's been consistent. But in the beginning of the season, he wasn't, and Aiden Morris was incredible. He's been incredible.
Well, it's not the whole season. I would give it to Cucho as well.
Well, Cucho, in the beginning of the season, he wasn't scoring. He was assisting.
I think he had 5 assists.
He had 5 assists.
I'm saying that Aiden Morris has a really good argument here. I think
in the first half of the season he had 5
in the top 3 or top 5, I would say, not top 1.
So who's number 2 then?
If we count Zelarayan, he'd be probably 1 or 2.
Okay.
You also got.
I'm gonna go with Schulte. I'm gonna go with Schulte.
Schulte and Admonson have been very good this year too. Yeah, Nagby goes under the radar. Nagby could easily be in that top 5. I wouldn't say he's the most. He hasn't been as consistent this year, but he's been always. I mean, he's always pretty decent.
You picking
Yeah.
Morris over Nagby this season, though, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
am 100%.
Yeah. I think what should happen next year is we change to a back four because Edmondson is good, but he's that traditional left back that you see. He can't.
Nancy doesn't play like that.
Well, he needs to. He's gonna have to because this three back with Sawatsky.
He did it with Montreal, and they were. He did that with Montreal, and they were in the top.
Yeah,
two.
because he had the personnel to do it. He had Camacho.
Yeah, so do we.
He had Victor Wanyama, and he had what's his face, Kamal Miller. Those are three pure center backs that are really good in a three back. We have a CDM who is like 5'11", who can't win the ball in the air to save his life in Zawadzki. We have Edmondson and Morier, who are two outside backs.
Zawadzki's been unreal this year.
Yeah,
the guy was not even heard of.
He
wasn't great in the beginning of the season, but he's gotten better.
Not good.
He's been very good.
Season. But I still.
And mind you, he played left wing back last game.
That was the stupidest thing.
And he was a very good. He had a very good game at left wing back.
He played Nashville earlier in the season. He's been great, I think.
Yeah, I just
don't trust Hani Mukhtar pretty much all by himself.
I don't trust.
It boosts his confidence. Yeah.
I don't trust Sawatsky going. I'd rather get a pure center back. I'm okay playing Edmondson at center back when Morris comes back from injury because he was a great left back.
Let me ask you something.
What?
Let me ask you something, Sam. Is Zawadzki a better center mid or center back?
He's a better center defensive mid.
That's where I disagree. I think he's better center back.
No. He's better.
He's been a lot better at center back. The game he played against Houston Dynamo.
More minutes at center back.
The game he played against Houston Dynamo. It was either Houston Dynamo or FC Dallas. He was playing center mid, and it was not pretty. But when he gets put in that center back role, he is pretty hard to be.
If we keep the three in the back, we need to move Morier from center back. He is not a good center back. He is not a center back. He has to play outside back because he gets too high.
Also, Morier, he's been very good this year as well. He has been.
Most of our goals conceded on the right-hand side because of him. Because he gets too high. We need a new actual right back.
Well, do you think that's because of him or because of Nancy?
No, that's because of him. That's because of him. It's the right back in him getting up past your right mid.
All right, I don't know about that.
Would you rather have Julian Gressel back there to defend or Morier to defend back there? Because
I'm saying I think it's tactical. I think it's tactical.
Definitely not tactical. It's definitely not tactical.
Why does he consistently do it?
Because he
wouldn't do it if it wasn't tactical.
Yeah, I don't think he does it because
that's what he's used to.
You don't really
stay back. He would stay back, but Nancy obviously
center backs don't get the ability,
talent, so he goes up.
Yeah,
he goes up.
And his goal against Club America, his goal against Club America really showed his quality of when he can get up, and also defenders don't. Center backs don't get a role of free roam that's not a thing. They don't just get to go wherever.
And his situation.
No, they don't.
He might be the only one in the world that I've ever seen. Unless it's tactical, which I said it was.
I just don't trust Morier in the back, and this 3-back will probably kill us in the.
If it's not a corner kick, Sam. If it's not a corner kick, they stay back.
If it's not,
he is the first. Yeah.
But then it's that counterattack. We get countered so easily. If you watch our games, we get countered quick on those 3-backs. And if we go up against FC, we're gonna go up against FCC, which they have the pace. They have the pace to do it. They're gonna kill us in that. The other teams
we smoked them. What? Did you watch us when we smoked them? They couldn't even get near us.
But then
we'd be playing in Cincinnati, though.
Yeah, we'd be playing in Cincinnati where they smoked us.
We had Quentin giving them 2 goals, that's why. Quentin's on Next Pro team now. He hasn't even played on a team since then. It's a totally different team. We have Adamson, Morera, and Camacho, or Zawadzki. Our defense is a lot more solid. And mind you, the last couple of games that we've capitulated have been in the end of the game. So it's when we make our horrific subs that things go downhill.
Yeah, against the crew game against FCC when we lost, we did start Quentin, we did start Viacia.
Yeah, those two have not played.
But
we
did start Matan, who was non-existent in that game. Admonson scored in that game, which we should have started Christian Ramirez that game instead of Matan, who was god awful that game. I remember we should have yanked him.
No, out. I'm agreeing with you.
We should have yanked Matan out after the 17th minute because he was that bad. He was unplayable.
Christian Ramirez needs to play every game though.
He does, good this but season. He likes to play Matan, which makes no sense because he doesn't do anything for you. He dribbles maybe 5 times and gives up the ball 90% of the game, which is just useless to us. I'd rather have a center mid that.
And then he makes one flashy play every 5 games, and then he's incredible.
Yeah, exactly. Which is just terrible for us because we need someone to just do better. But yeah, that's for us from the crew. And then the last thing we'll touch on is Inter Miami is pretty much is done. No Messi. My only takeaways from that is Messi should not be on the ballot for MVP or newcomer because that has nothing to do with the Leagues Cup. He's only played 2 league games and has 1 goal or 2 goals and 1 assist, which is terrible. So I don't know.
He's played 4 games, I thought.
No, he's played 2.
But either way, I mean,
I can see him being a newcomer. I can see him being a newcomer.
The problem with that is newcomer does not count for Leagues Cup. If you're doing a newcomer Leagues Cup, yes, that counts. But this is newcomer for MLS league, like the league. He's not played more than 2. He's played. There, I'll pull it up. His stats for Inter Miami: 5 games, 1 goal, 2 assists. That is not.
So then, give the newcomer award to Busquets. Then.
No, it won't even go to Busquets. It's probably gonna go to. I don't even know who's on the ballot for newcomer. Let me look real quick. I know on the for
what new signing has done better than Busquets then?
That's what I'm looking. See. But for MLS MVP, it should either go to Luciano Acosta or Thiago Almada, or maybe Buwanga. But who knows?
Yeah, we'll see.
It should be one of those because Luciano Acosta and Thiago Almada are in the top 5 or 10 in goals and assists. I believe Almada.
Yeah, I think it's gonna go to Acosta.
Yeah, it just and they won the supporter shield.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see it going to him, which is kind of annoying.
Yeah,
but
I would say if it included Leagues Cup, I would say he definitely should be.
For it.
Yeah,
100%.
If it doesn't, I would say no. I don't. I mean, 4 games, even though he is Lionel Messi, but 4 games out of 30 something.
The short list for the newcomer, Busquets is also on it. For both awards somehow.
Busquets in the MVP awards too.
I guess. Mukhtar's in it. Luciano Costa's in it. Short list. For MVP, Berkey's in it. Berkey, I think, is up for newcomer. Because this is their first.
Acosta should probably win both.
Acosta's not a newcomer, though. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So newcomer awards. Busquets is on it, yes. Tyler Boyd's on it because this is his first year in LA. Mecca Anili is on it. We've all played a Mecca at his time at the lovely Dublin Kaufman. He is on it. He came halfway through the season in the MLS Super Draft. Of note, he probably won't win it. But honestly, there isn't a lot of probably Messi will probably win it, which will be annoying because he didn't do anything. But I would say Sam Surridge, when he came over from Nottingham Forest, he's had a tremendous season for Nashville, scoring goals. And then Matheus Bogus from LAFC, he came over from Leeds United, who has been balling up.
Mm-hmm. I will say one thing on this newcomer thing or MVP.
Actually, sorry,
I could see the Miami players making it just because they want more viewership at the Apple. They want more people buying the tickets that are outrageous numbers, which the Inter Miami fans are pushing back against the prices. They said they weren't going to show up for that game,
and they
did. They did, but the chanting, the drums, all that was at a minimal because of their pushback.
I will say, actually, I kind of forgot someone. If this person doesn't win Newcomer of the Year, this is very rigged, and we all know it. It should be Georgios Giamakis from Atlanta United. He is in the top 2. He has, I believe, 15 goals in MLS for Atlanta United. If he does not win Newcomer of the Year, it is kind of rigged. But we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. For us from the crew, Cucho is on the MLS short list for the Landon Donovan Award, but I think it will either go to Acosta Armada or Danny Buonga, maybe Mukhtar squeezes in. You also have the likes of Christian Benteke, who's on fire this year. Jesus Ferreira, who's cooled off in the second half of the season. Ricky Puig is also a nomination, as well as Jordan Morris and Hector Herrera, to name a few. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up our episode today. We'll be out here with another soccer episode soon, with the lovely debate coming between these two dinguses, the Kirsch twin brothers. We also have our NFL and NCAA college football coming out either tomorrow, so get ready for those. I will be previewing the college football week as well as the NFL week. We have some big games coming up with Oregon taking on Washington, another top 25 matchup, and we have some big games in NFL. So we'll see you guys soon. You boys have anything left to say?
Yeah, starting up NBA season coming up soon, so I will be putting out some NBA content probably at the end of preseason and just previewing the season in general. So keep an eye out.
Yeah, I can't wait for those NBA. Can't wait to tell Casey that the Mavericks are starting Derek Lively, which he said that Dwight Powell and Maxi Kleber were going to be starting, but nope. Derek Lively's starting. But you'll see that soon.
It's preseason.
Yeah, you would think you would start your starters. But yeah, peace. See you guys soon.
We'll see.